Good evening and welcome to EV Travels. I'm out in the Ioniq and I have stopped at Milton Keynes Coachway, and in front of me are all the polar chargers, and behind me, and I'm parked in, the Ionity space. I'm down to 25%. I started off with 167 miles range. I have done 133 miles and I've got 38 miles still to go. So I'm getting 171 out of the Ioniq at the moment on the GOM, which is fantastic. And let's see how fast the Ioniq charges on the Ionity charger. Well, first thing to say is that the charging plug actually is a very neat affair compared to what we see elsewhere. Now onto the screen, so we're connected. So we press start and use your mobility provider app to authenticate or scan a QR code of charger for direct pay. Okay, so let's put the appropriate card in front of the reader. The reader's down here. It's just verifying the payment now. Please contact your access provider, or connect OK. Mm-hmm. Try another way. Okay, so thanks to this little beauty, my ChargePoint card, which works at Instavolt and apparently Ionity chargers, we are now charging. There we go. 24% battery reported by the car. We might have to do some maths after this to work out just how fast it charged, because it's not reporting, but you can see already 25. We should keep an eye on this for a bit. Uh, 24% to 94%. Probably take about 30 minutes, 35 minutes normally. 17 minutes reported by the car might be a bit optimistic, but let's go see what it says inside the car. And as you can see here, we're actually reporting 25 minutes. So let's see which one is actually correct. So is the Ionity charger actually quicker than me eating a sandwich? With 40%. Took 6 minutes to take us up 15% so far. Sorry, 17% so far. Further 11 minutes to go. Will it do it? And here we go, we're one sandwich down, we're coming up, there we go, 10 kilowatt in 9 minutes 40, which is about 65 kilowatt to 67 kilowatt per hour, or kilowatt hour rather, per hour, let's get it right. So yeah, very impressive how quickly the Ioniq is charging. I know Tesla Bjorn is wanting to do this test, particularly after the problems he's had with the Nissan Leaf in his most recent videos. So sorry I'm eating while I do this video, but I just thought I'd show you the Ionity chargers here, for those of you that haven't been. And then you've got the polar hub here. Could do with a bit of light on the picture, really. When you look at the lights here in the coachway, Park and Ride in Milton Keynes, a lot of the lights are out. So Milton Keynes Council or bus company, whoever it is that runs this, really need to fix this, because actually people could be very vulnerable, as you see just how dark it is. Let's go back to my car over there. Very, very dark around here, and it is only just coming up to 8 o'clock, and I'm filming this on the 29th of August, and by the way, still charging, just got over to 66%. A random cat just joining us as well, as you can see here, there's our indication that we're on that final third of the battery. Let's have a look how long it's taken. Sorry for the brightness, it will adjust now. We're at 69, coming up 70% now. 13 minutes, very impressive. 14 kilowatt hour delivered so far in 13 minutes. So it's still charging at circa 65 kilowatt hour per hour. The most an Ioniq will do is reported to be 70 kilowatt hour per hour. Sorry, like say munching my sandwich. I want to see if actually the charger can beat my eating. 4 minutes to go apparently. Let's see. So we're seeing that the charger's indicating a margin for the charge stopping in 1 minute's time. The Ioniq stops on a rapid charger at 94, and you can see now it's just moved forward 10 minutes reported by the car. So I think that means it's hitting the buffer and is now going to start to slow down maybe, which was quite an intelligent sort of way of doing it. I've just included a photograph of the lights actually going on the polar chargers run by BP Chargemaster. It did get a bit brighter as a listen leaf pulled up, but then as soon as the guy got out of the car, the lights went off. Yeah, not very good for security, especially if you're a female driver. I don't want the lights come back on again, so they're on motion sensors, but there's only 2 fluorescent tubes lighting up, and it's pretty crap. And yeah, you can now see it's throttling back. Starting to even out now. 18.1 kilowatt hour delivered in 18 minutes 20. So it's starting to slow down now. As is known, that's what the Ioniq does about 84-85%. Okay, so 87% after 20 minutes. Still going fairly quick, but I need my 94%, make sure I get home. Still got 130 odd miles to go, 140. I want a little bit of a margin so I can get to a charger in the morning. Okay, here we go. Just going to get to 94%. It's going to turn itself off. So we're going to use most of this now going back home. We've got about 20 miles spare capacity, maybe a little bit more. Depends whether we have the aircon on or not. This is quite a reasonable evening. It's about 18 degrees outside, so probably won't need it actually. The last minute's always the longest one, isn't it, folks? There we go. Set the buffer, 94%. That took 25 minutes to get 20.8 and a 21 kilowatt hour. So superb. I think that saved me about 15 minutes compared to an efficient Instavolt or Podpoint. I'm not going to talk ecotricity. I'm only getting about 30 kilowatt hour per hour from an ecotricity. It's just not worth it, and that's if you can find one that works anyway. Okay, Ionity, love it. £8, very expensive, yes, compared to the polar chargers, but 15 minutes quicker when you're in a rush, when you're tired, as a one-off. Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, so in the end, it's got my GOM up to 163 miles on 94%. I've got 138 miles to go, so I've got a comfort margin of 25 miles. I say about 15 minutes quicker. Yeah, I like it. Definitely when there's more of these chargers, and if money's not an object, or they start charging appropriately by the kilowatt hour, the Ionity chargers become a lot more viable for the Ioniqs. I have to say, given the proximity of the polar chargers at 50 kilowatt an hour, if I wasn't in a rush and these chargers were in demand by bigger cars that can do a faster charging rate, like e-trons and the Porsche when it comes out, the ID, all the other cars that can charge at 100 kilowatts hour per hour, I wouldn't get in the way, to be honest. I'd go on the polar charger, but as a one-off, as a test, yeah, very good, very impressed. Okay, so I've been editing the video this morning, and I was thinking to myself, actually, I should just do a bit of a summary. As you'll seen right at the end of the video, I actually got charged nothing for the charge on the Ionity charger, and that's obviously very welcome. I noticed also that it was going to charge me in euros rather than pounds sterling, but neither here or there. 0 is 0, so 3 is 3. And today I'm actually at the Podpoint charger, just charging up, because I got home yesterday with just 14 miles to spare, thanks to a nice traffic jam caused by some roadworks. And basically we're now at just coming up to 24% on the CCS here, the rapid charger, 50 kilowatt hour charger, and it's saying I've got 32 minutes to go. So yeah, I guess really the Ionity charger was basically 10 to 15 minutes quicker than the Podpoint charger. I'm going to see how long it actually takes for us to charge up today. I am monitoring it. It's currently 10 to 3, so let's see what time we actually finish. The other thing I wanted to catch up on, which I neglected to mention at the end of the video, was the fact that I was actually racing eating a sandwich against the Ionity charger. That became a little bit ridiculous, really, or redundant even, in the fact that I actually managed my sandwich well inside the 25 minutes, of course, that it took to charge the Ioniq at that point. So yeah, all good. Let's see how long it takes on the Podpoint here as a direct comparison. Okay, so you can see we've got 1 minute left. We're at 93% now, which has just popped up. So any minute now it's going to click off the charger. So let's go and have a look at what it's saying out there. Sorry for the reflections, but yeah, 22 kilowatt in 34 minutes. Again, as said earlier, this is the longest minute, and there we go, 94%. All done. Ionity is between 10, well, it's about 10 minutes faster. The one thing I would say is that on both occasions the car has been warm. The outside temperature has been warm. It's been circa 18 to 22 degrees, so it's not winter time. I wouldn't pay the £8 for the charge, I have to admit. There's no two ways about that, and I absolutely would not expect it to have been free all the time like it was when I got the receipt last night, which was yeah, good news, good break. But for urgency's sake, if I was wanting to get somewhere quickly, for convenience sake, if you're tired and you are going to gain 20 kilowatt hour plus, yeah, I think there's a market for it if you're willing to pay for it. The other issue though, as I mentioned earlier in the video, is that, you know, what if there's a couple of Jag I-Paces, an e-tron, the new Mercedes EQC, you know, queuing up to use one of those Ionity chargers? It's not really fair to be holding them up, and we all see the posts about PHEVs on rapid chargers and how long they take, and yet they're only taking such a small charge. I think Ioniqs and the 40 kilowatt hour Nissan Leaf, we're going to get the same sort of bad press really from owners of those vehicles, and we mustn't forget Teslas as well, should they decide to use them. Will they be more convenient than, say, a supercharger? We're going to get a bad press. We're going to be in the way. We need to stick to the 50s really. There's not much point in going above that unless there is a better charging model than the £8 flat rate. If it was, say, 40 pence a kilowatt hour, with Instavolt being 35 pence, Ecotricity being 30 pence, I don't think that 40 pence would be an unreasonable fee to pay, maybe even 45 pence. What do you think? Comment in the section below. What would you say was a reasonable kilowatt hour price for the benefit of being able to charge at 67, 70 kilowatt hours per hour on an Ionity for us as Ioniq drivers? Tell me what you think. Okay, until the next time, take care, all the best. Sorry for the shaky video in the car here, but yeah, need a better mounting solution. Take care.